Have you ever felt like your mind never stops? Like your thoughts keep spinning in circles, pulling you deeper into worry, fear, and tension, no matter how hard you try to quiet them? Anxiety can feel like that, a constant background noise taking over your peace, your sleep, your ability to simply breathe and be present. But what if I told you it doesn't have to be this way? What if there's an ancient path, tested through centuries, that shows us how to loosen anxiety's grip gently, without fighting ourselves? For over 2,500 years, Buddhist wisdom has offered practical tools to help us navigate the storms within, not by escaping life, but by transforming how we relate to it. In today's video, we'll explore how Buddhist teachings, simple yet deeply powerful, can help you break free from anxiety's hold. You'll discover not only how to calm your mind, but how to live with more clarity, resilience, and peace, even when life feels overwhelming. Stay with me until the end, because I promise, by the time we finish, you'll have a tool that can shift your relationship with anxiety, not by erasing challenges, but by learning how to walk with them, calmly, wisely, with a steady heart. And if this journey toward inner peace speaks to something inside you, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. Here we dive into the heart of mindfulness, meditation, and Buddhist wisdom, made simple for modern life. Click subscribe, turn on the bell, and let's explore this path together. Have you ever noticed how anxiety often begins? The moment we start holding on too tightly. We cling to the idea that life should unfold exactly as we expect, that relationships must stay the same, success must be guaranteed, happiness must be permanent. But life doesn't work that way. Everything changes. People leave, plans fail, even our emotions shift like waves on the ocean. Yet the mind resists, it grasps, it holds, it fears losing control. In Buddhism, this pattern is called Tanha, craving, attachment, the constant urge to possess what feels good and to avoid what feels uncomfortable. It's not just about material things. We cling to people, titles, identities, even ideas about how life should be. And the more we cling, the more anxiety grows. We worry about losing what we love. We fear not achieving what we desire. Our minds spiral into a loop of tension, imagining problems before they exist, grasping for security that life can never fully promise. I remember a friend who once shared, "I used to believe peace meant controlling everything, my job, my relationships, my future. But the harder I tried to hold it all together, the more anxious I became. It was exhausting." Maybe you felt that too, the exhausting grip of attachment. We think control will bring peace, but clinging only feeds the anxiety we're trying to escape. The Buddha taught that understanding this root cause, the craving, the tight grip, is the first step to freedom. It's not about rejecting life's beauty or ambition. It's about loosening the grip, learning to walk through life with open hands, open heart, steady awareness. In the next part, we'll explore how recognizing impermanence, the simple truth that everything changes, helps us begin that process of letting go, and with it, dissolving the anxious patterns that hold us back. There's a quiet truth many of us overlook. You are not your thoughts. It sounds simple, but when anxiety arises, it feels like the mind completely takes over. The racing thoughts, the worst-case scenarios, the doubts, they appear so vividly that we believe every word our mind whispers. But here's the gentle reminder. The mind speaks, but you don't have to believe everything it says. Buddhism teaches that thoughts are like echoes, reflections of old habits, fears, and stories. But they're not absolute truths, and more importantly, you don't have to react to every thought that passes through your awareness. Think of your mind like a wide open sky. The clouds drift across. Some are light and harmless, others are dark, heavy with tension. But the sky never becomes the clouds. It simply holds them, spacious, unshaken, patiently watching them pass. When we forget this, we become entangled in every passing thought. Anxiety grows, not because the situation is truly dangerous, but because the mind spins stories. What if I fail? What if everything goes wrong? What if I'm not enough? The practice isn't to silence the mind completely, it's to witness it, like observing ripples on water, without trying to change them, without letting them define us. Let me share a story from my own life. I used to believe that every anxious thought was a warning, that if my mind said, You can't handle this. It must be true. But over time, through mindfulness, I realized the mind speaks out of habit, not wisdom. I learned to step back, to create space between me and my thoughts. And in that space, I found calm. The more we practice observing the mind, the more we reclaim our power. We stop being swept away by anxious spirals. We start seeing thoughts as they are, temporary, fleeting, not a reflection of our worth or reality. Next, we'll explore how to deepen this practice, using mindfulness not only to observe thoughts, but to ground ourselves fully in the present moment, where peace naturally arises. If there's one truth life keeps whispering to us, it's this. Everything changes. The seasons change. Our emotions rise and fall. Relationships shift, grow, or sometimes fade away. Even the version of ourselves today is not the same as who we were yesterday. Yet, so often anxiety grows from one simple misunderstanding, the belief that things should stay the same, that happiness, success, or love must remain untouched, that life should unfold exactly how we imagined. But life has its own rhythm. It moves, transforms, and evolves, with or without our approval. Buddhism teaches us that impermanence isn't a problem to fix, it's a natural law. Nothing lasts forever, not joy, not pain, not even the heavy cloud of anxiety itself. And here's the quiet gift hidden within that truth. When we stop fighting change, we start to breathe again. We loosen our grip on control. We learn to meet each moment as it is, flowing with life rather than against it. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means softening our attachment to what we cannot hold forever. It means loving deeply, but without fear. It means facing uncertainty with curiosity, not resistance. The more we trust impermanence, the less anxiety controls us. We realize that no feeling, no situation, no storm lasts forever. In the next part, we'll explore how to live this understanding, transforming anxious moments into reminders of freedom and resilience. One of the deepest reasons anxiety holds power over us is not just the fear itself, but the way we treat ourselves in the face of it. Have you ever noticed how harsh we become when anxiety shows up? We criticize ourselves. Why can't I handle this? We judge. I should be stronger. We compare. Everyone else seems fine. What's wrong with me? But here's what most people never tell you. The more you blame yourself for anxiety, the stronger it grows. Self-judgment is like adding fuel to the fire. Buddhism offers another path. The practice of self-compassion, treating ourselves with the same kindness we would offer a dear friend, becomes a powerful medicine for an anxious mind. Imagine this, a child wakes from a nightmare trembling with fear. Would you scold them for feeling afraid? Of course not. You'd hold them gently, whisper reassurance, stay present until they feel safe again. Why is it then that when fear or anxiety arises in our own heart, we respond with criticism instead of care? The Buddha taught that suffering is part of being human, and so is vulnerability. Feeling overwhelmed doesn't mean we're weak. It means we're alive, sensitive, capable of feeling deeply. Self-compassion doesn't erase anxiety instantly, but it softens its grip. It creates an inner space where fear can exist without being amplified by shame or self-hatred. When anxiety appears, try this. Pause, place a hand over your heart if you wish, and quietly remind yourself, it's okay to feel this way. I am safe. I'm allowed to be human. Over time, this simple kindness becomes a refuge, a steady reminder that peace isn't about perfection, but about how gently we hold ourselves through the storms. When anxiety takes over, it feels like the mind races far ahead, spinning stories, imagining worst-case scenarios, drowning us in tension. But the body is always here, breathing, steady, present. Buddhism teaches us that the simplest way to break free from the grip of anxious thoughts is to return to the body, to the breath. The breath is always with us. We don't need to search for it. We only need to notice it. The rise, the fall, the quiet rhythm of life itself. When anxiety arises, the mind says, what if this happens? What if I can't handle it? And in that moment, we forget where we are. We lose the present, we lose ourselves. But the breath brings us home. Mindful breathing isn't complicated. It's not about controlling or forcing the breath. It's about resting your attention on it, gently observing it, using it as an anchor when the waves of anxiety try to pull you away. Imagine this. Your thoughts spiral, your heart races. Pause. Inhale deeply. Feel the air enter your body. Exhale slowly. Release tension. You don't have to believe every thought. You don't have to follow every fear. The breath reminds you, this moment is enough. Again and again, each conscious inhale, each soft exhale, brings you back to your body, back to now, back to peace. In the next part, we'll explore how this simple practice, combined with compassion and present moment awareness, transforms anxiety into an opportunity to grow stronger, calmer, more resilient. Sometimes when anxiety feels overwhelming, we believe the solution must be complicated. But often peace begins with something as simple as breathing. In Buddhism, meditation isn't about escaping life or forcing the mind to be empty. It's about learning to be present with ourselves, gently, patiently, especially when the storm of anxiety arises. One of the simplest yet most powerful techniques is conscious breathing, using the breath as a safe harbor when thoughts spiral or tension builds. Here's how it works. The next time anxiety appears, instead of fighting your thoughts or judging yourself, pause. Inhale deeply, not rushed, not forced. Just breathe in, as if welcoming life itself. Exhale slowly, letting go of tension, of pressure, of the need to fix everything. In that brief moment, you create space. Space between you and your anxious thoughts. Space to remember that this feeling is temporary. It's not magic, but it is powerful. The more we practice, even 5 or 10 minutes a day, the more the mind learns a new habit, to observe, not react, to breathe, not panic, and slowly anxiety loses its grip. Meditation becomes like an inner pause button, reminding us that peace isn't the absence of challenges, but the ability to meet them with calm presence. In the next part, we'll explore how to bring this awareness into daily life, turning ordinary moments into opportunities for mindfulness and self-compassion. Meditation is not something we leave behind once we step off the cushion. True mindfulness follows us everywhere, in conversations, at work, even when walking down the street, and that's exactly where anxiety loves to appear, not just during quiet moments, but in the middle of daily life. It shows up when deadlines pile up, when we feel judged, when the unknown makes us restless. That's why the most powerful practice isn't about escaping reality. It's about learning to be fully present within it, moment by moment. The next time you're working, notice your breath, your body, your surroundings. Feel your feet anchored to the ground. Let your awareness settle into what's happening instead of getting lost in anxious projections. When walking, slow down. Feel each step connect with the earth beneath you. Let walking become a meditation, simple, grounding, calming. The body moves, the mind returns home. In conversations, practice presence. Listen not to react, but to understand. Notice your emotions rise, but choose to stay rooted in the now. You'll find anxiety loosens its grip when you stop feeding it with mental stories. And when anxiety does arise, as it naturally will, pause. Take one conscious breath. Observe the tension without resistance. Recognize the feeling, but don't let it control your next action. It's not about forcing the anxiety away, but about creating space. Space to breathe. Space to see clearly. Space to choose a new response. The more you weave mindfulness into ordinary moments, the less anxiety defines your experience. You stop living trapped in imagined fears and start living grounded in what is real, here, now. In the next part, we'll explore how embracing impermanence deepens this practice, reminding us that no thought, no feeling, not even anxiety lasts forever. If there's one quiet truth we often forget in the rush of life, it's this: nothing lasts forever. Not joy, not pain, not even anxiety. When we're overwhelmed, it feels like the discomfort will stretch on endlessly. But Buddhism reminds us, everything, including your emotions, is temporary. A passing visitor, not a permanent resident. Think about the last time you faced a stressful situation. Maybe a work deadline, a difficult conversation, or standing in front of a crowd to speak. The tension builds, your heart races, your mind spirals into what if? And yet, moments later, it's over. The discomfort, the fear, the anxiety, they come and they go. The practice is to remember this truth, especially in the heat of the moment. When anxiety arises, quietly remind yourself, this too shall pass. These four simple words soften the grip of fear, reminding you that even the stormiest emotions cannot stay forever. The more we trust impermanence, the less power anxiety has. We meet pressure with patience, uncertainty with curiosity, and challenges with a calm heart. It doesn't mean we won't feel discomfort, but it means we stop clinging to it, stop fueling it with panic. Instead, we breathe, observe, and let each experience flow, knowing it is only passing through. In the next part, we'll explore how compassion for ourselves and others deepens this awareness, creating the inner space needed to face life's ups and downs with resilience. One of the quietest yet most powerful ways to ease anxiety is learning to meet ourselves and others with compassion. So often when anxiety arises, our first reaction isn't kindness, it's self-criticism. Why am I still struggling? I should be stronger than this. But this harshness only tightens anxiety's grip. Buddhism teaches a different approach, the practice of self-compassion, to recognize that being human means feeling vulnerable sometimes, and in those moments, we deserve understanding, not punishment. When fear, tension, or sadness appear, pause. Instead of blaming yourself, offer gentle words. It's okay to feel this way. I'm allowed to be imperfect. With every act of kindness toward yourself, anxiety begins to soften. And the same applies to how we see others. Everyone carries hidden struggles. The colleague who seems distant, the friend who reacts with frustration, the stranger who looks lost in thought. When we look through the lens of compassion, we see beyond the surface. We remember, everyone is facing their own quiet battles. This softens our relationships. It dissolves judgment. It reminds us we're not alone in our fears, our doubts, our anxieties. The more we practice compassion, inward and outward, the more space we create. Space to breathe, space to heal, space for peace to return. One of the greatest misunderstandings about mindfulness is believing it only happens when we sit cross-legged, eyes closed, away from the noise of life. But true mindfulness begins where life happens, in the simplest, most ordinary moments. When you walk, it's easy to get lost in thoughts. Plans for the day, worries about the future, endless distractions pulling you away. But walking can also be meditation. The next time your feet touch the earth, slow down. Feel the gentle weight of your body with each step. Notice how the ground supports you, how your breath moves in rhythm with your stride. Suddenly, anxiety loses its grip. You're no longer trapped in future fears. You're here, grounded, steady. The same happens when washing dishes. Instead of rushing through the task, feel the water on your hands. Hear the sound of flowing water, the clinking of plates, the simplicity of being present. Even this, a daily chore, becomes an anchor, pulling you back to now. Cooking, eating, folding laundry, all can become mindfulness practices. It's not about changing what you do, but how you do it, with awareness, curiosity, and gentle presence. The beauty of bringing mindfulness into daily life is that anxiety has fewer places to hide. You no longer live only in your head. You inhabit your body, your breath, your senses. Over time, these small, quiet practices reshape your inner world. You become more grounded, more resilient. Anxiety, instead of controlling your story, simply becomes another passing cloud. The true transformation comes not from grand gestures, but from showing up again and again for the ordinary moments. Anxiety, it's not a flaw, nor a sign of weakness. It's part of being human, like joy, like sadness, like every fleeting emotion that passes through this life. But what defines our inner peace isn't whether anxiety shows up. It's how we meet it. Buddhism doesn't promise a life without fear or discomfort. Instead, it offers us the tools, mindfulness, compassion, presence, to face life's inevitable storms with more calm, more strength, more clarity. Every mindful breath you take, every moment you return to the present, Every time you choose understanding over judgment, you're building a foundation of resilience. And no, transformation isn't instant. It's quiet. It's subtle. But with patience and steady practice, you'll notice the mind grows calmer, the heart softens, the grip of anxiety fades. Each day becomes a new opportunity to show up for yourself, to nourish your peace, to walk through life's uncertainties with grace. If today's message resonated with you, I invite you to stay connected, subscribe to this channel, and explore more wisdom, tools, and mindful practices that can help bring calm into your everyday life. And I'd love to hear your experience. What insight touched you the most? What questions are still lingering in your heart? Share in the comments below. Your words may be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. Thank you for choosing to be present, not just in this video, but in your own life. Your journey matters, and I'm honored to walk this path with you.